Well done, wonderful Kirtan. Thank you very much. Let's give a big applause to him. And without any further delay, I humbly beg Maharaj to come and make darshan to all of you. And I'm very, very happy that Maharaj is here with us. He was telling all the day, he was talking to all of you for his and all that thing. So he may be with us for a short time. Very with us. Hari Bol. Can you bring the stand here, please? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, I'd like to welcome all of you to the program this evening. We'll do a short kirtan, a short lecture, and a long question and answer. Okay? Kirtan. एक मिनट slow. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradha Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradha Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Sodananda Jaya Ranjana Sodananda Jaya Ranjana Jamna Tira Bhanachari
distribution and श्रीमद् भागवतम आ रहा है ना, तो भागवतम सेट उसके बारे में जरा बोल देना आपको। भद्र पूर्णिमा आ रहा है, तो प्लीज एंकरेज अबाउट द बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंड भागवतम सेट। थैंक यू महाराज।
Hare
Jai Vishwamani Vesa Vesa Bhakti Gana Savisa Prapanaj Ki. All glory to Samana. Hare Krishna. सब भक्तों का हार्दिक स्वागत. So, in the month of Bhadra Purnima, devotees all over the world in this cause try to distribute what? As many books as possible. So we'll take a verse from the Bhagavatam, then discuss the importance of Bhagavatam. Is that okay? Yes. Mike.
Vani Guna. This is Canto 10, Chapter 10, Deliverance of the Yama Arjuna Trees, Text 38. Vani Guna Kathane Shabano Kathayam Hasto Jakarma Sumanastava Padayorna Smrityam Shirastava Nivasa Jagat Praname Drishti Satam Darshanesu Bhavaktanunam. Henceforth, may all our words describe your pastimes. May our ears engage in oral reception of your glories. May our hands, legs, and other senses engage in actions pleasing to you. And may our minds always think of your lotus feet. May our heads offer our obeisances to everything within this world, because all things are also your different forms. And may our eyes see the forms of Vaishnavas who are non-different from you. Please repeat. Henceforth, may all our words, describe your pastimes. May our ears, engage in oral reception, of your glories. May our hands, legs, and other senses, engage in actions, pleasing to you. And may our minds, always think of your lotus feet. May our heads, offer our obeisances to everything within this world, because all things are also your different forms. And may our eyes see the forms of Vaishnavas who are non-different from you. Translation purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki. Here the process of understanding the Supreme Personality of God is given. This process is bhakti. Shravanam kirtanam vishnu smaranam pada sevanam archanam bandhanam dasyam sakhyam atma nivedanam. Bhagavatam 7:5-23. Everything should be engaged in the service of the Lord. Rishikena Hishikesha Bhakti Uchyate. Nara Pancharatna. Everything, the mind, the body, and all the sense organs should be engaged in Krishna's service. This is to be learned. This is to be learned from the expert devotees like Narada, Swayambhuva, and Shambhu. This is the process. We cannot manufacture our own way of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For it is not that everything one manufactures or concocts will lead one to understanding God. Such a proposition, yata mata tata patha, is foolish. Krishna says, bhaktyaham 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐚𝐜𝐿. Only by executing the activities of bhakti can one understand me. Bhagavatam 11:14-21. This is called anukulena Krishnanushilana, remaining engaged favorably in the service of the Lord.
Mike. Mic. Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-Timirasya Jnananjana-Shakya Chakshurvildhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhasya Sakamena Bhutale Saramripakaha Nihara Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastava Hare So this chapter is called Deliverance of Yamarajana Tree. And here we see that the two sons of Kṛṣṇa who were cursed by Radha Muni have come to proper understanding. They are speaking this word. Just to give you a little background, in the previous chapter, Srila Goswami was questioned by Parikramar. Question was, Srila Goswami, why is it that the money was so heavy? One month gave a hand, two sons of who? Kṛṣṇa. You know who Kṛṣṇa is? Who? Huh? Treasure of demigods. Not just treasure of something ordinary. So these two sons of Kṛṣṇa were enjoying in the lake with other females. They were just like the elephants who were enjoying the water. And now the Muni was passing by. So now the Muni saw that the ladies who were taking baths were very conscientious. They covered their delegated private parts. But Nalaguna Manigriva was so deeply intoxicated that Nalaguna Muni said, I must teach them a lesson. I must purify them. I'm sorry. And so, now the Muni thought, I should teach them a lesson. A sage, even though he chastises you for your benefit, a sage will correct somebody for our benefit. We should not think, oh, he's anyway something. So, now the Muni saw these two sons of Kṛṣṇa, they were not only intoxicated with liquor, they were so intoxicated that they didn't even recognize the two big sadhus, that a big sadhu is here. And they continued to be naked. So now the Muni thought, I should teach them a lesson. What did he say? You will become trees for a period of 100 years. And along with the curse, he gave them a blessing also. And the blessing was, you become trees for 100 years, but at the end of 100 years, you have darshan of the Supreme Lord. Oh, some people may wait a million of years for darshan of the Lord. So it is a blessing and a curse. So two trees, Nalaguna Manigiva, become two trees. Now, this is time calculation in the heavenly planets. It means our 6 months are equal to our 24 hours, 12 hours of these demigods. And our 1 day is equal to one year. So Nalaguna Manigriva became trees. But fortunately, they became trees where? Bombay, Delhi, Vancouver? No. Where did they become trees? in the courtyard of Nanda. I'm sure if you people were given a choice, you'd like to become a tree in the courtyard of Nanda. Most people would say yes. And when we do kirtan, just like on this Vancouver property, we have a lot of vegetation, trees, plants, etc. So they all benefit by chanting the order. Those of you who have been to Vrindavan may have noticed in the Vrindavan temple, there's a tamal tree. Yeah? In the courtyard. That tree had been there for over 100 years. More. And that tree listens to and attends every arati that is performed. We go for one arati, we say my quota is over. But that tree doesn't move anywhere. It attends every arati, every kirtan. You can imagine how much benefit he must be getting. So, Maharaja and so they were cursed to become free. So along with that, they were given a benediction. So when the 100 years came, the Lord was already tied by a damsel rope, and the Lord pulled down to 2 huge Arjuna trees. And when he pulled those down, from inside the tree, appeared the 2 sons of Ǩūjā. So Ǩūjā's son, first of all, they thanked Narada Muni. Because they pulled the trees down, these 2 sons of Ǩūjā, they saw the Supreme Lord. And they felt extremely grateful to Narada Muni, their guru, for having given them this benediction. The benediction was, they become trees, but then have darshan of God. So the 2 sons of Ǩūjā, Narada Muni, they were very beneficial, grateful to Narada Muni. And in a series of verses in the Bhagavatam, they are glorifying Narada Muni for having given them the spiritual vision. And now the 2 sons of Ǩūjā, they have understood that they made a mistake. And therefore, then they made a mistake and they apologized. And the realization are stated in the verse that we read just read. He says, henceforth, we all are going to describe your partner. So here the word used is henceforth. What does henceforth mean? No one. So what they're saying is, we have made mistakes. We were ignorant about the goal of human life. But now the Muni's mercy, you have woken us up. That's the mercy. Well, we will be more careful. We will not repeat the same mistake. In English they say, once bitten, twice shy. If you made a mistake once, you want to repeat it. If you give money to somebody as a loan, he doesn't pay your money back. You give him loan again? No. So, the sons of Nanda, where they understood that they had made a mistake. And now, by the mercy of Narada Muni, they have a better realization. And they say, henceforth. It means from now onwards. Whatever we've done, we've done. From now onwards, we're not going to repeat the mistake. We offer a prayer. 𝐾𝐢𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐚𝐜𝐿 𝐾𝐢𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐚𝐜𝐿 that's why I was born in ignorance. And by the mercy of the spiritual teacher, I received the spiritual knowledge. So that is the correct understanding. We were all born in ignorance. That's like when we were born. We were not aware about spiritual principles. So we come in contact with a sadhu, get enlightened. We discussed this point yesterday. So they're saying, henceforward, they all are more described your glory. So this tongue has a purpose. What's the role of the tongue? What is the role of the tongue? Prasad, okay. Anything else? Okay. So this tongue, it previously was being used for everything undesirable. Now he says, may a tongue always describe your pastime. So describing the pastime of the Lord is known as what? Krishna Katha. The scriptures say, avoid Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means, the scriptures say, engage in Krishna Katha. And in the answer of Krishna Katha, what do we engage in? Vijala means topics are not related to the law. So we also, before coming to the 𝐾𝐲𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐚𝐜 movement, we were not aware of what's wrong. And then after receiving the instruction, we became aware. So now onwards they say, you should use the tongue to glorify you and your pastime. Sometimes people say, how should we glorify the Lord? There are many ways. There are many ways. You use your tongue to chant 𝐿IKE mantra. You use your tongue to recite slokas. You use your tongue to engage in Krishna Katha, talking about Krishna. You use your tongue to hear the glory of the Lord. And you use your tongue to taste Krishna Prasad. The Bhagavad Gita, the third chapter, Krishna says that those who eat, they are offering to me. And you can what? Praise Him. So, with the tongue, glorify the Supreme Personality of God. Then the thing. May our ears engage in all reception of our glory. So, Shravanam, tongue and ears. The tongue and ears are related. That's true. Because if you speak something, you hear that something. So what they're saying is, may our tongue constantly hear, your ears constantly hear what others are posture. So the tongue should recite Krishna Katha, and the ears should hear the glory of the Lord. Now, someone may say, someone may say that you would like to do Krishna Katha all the time, but other people come and do prajalpa with us. So what do you do? What's the solution? If someone comes and does prajalpa, you tell him, Prabhu, I'm not so advanced. Let me go about your involvement in prajalpa. I'm only interested in doing Krishna Katha. And certainly then, he won't persist. And he won't think that he's not going to do prajalpa with the wall. So, the tongue and ear, what should we do? Hear and you may say, but you want to do it How can we do it all the time? We can practice this process. And if the tongue and the ear are used correctly, then you begin to make spiritual progress. The spiritual foundation is based on what? Based on? So, then he says, my hands, legs and other senses engage in action pleasing to you. So, devotee desire that I may engage in service to please the Lord. In material life, we try to please each other. Is that right? You have a family relationship, we try to please the partners, we try to please each other. Do we succeed in pleasing others? Doesn't matter how hard you try. Is anyone really happy? You can try as hard as you want, you can't please. But Krishna is pleased with a tiny so in the month of Kartik, there was a story, and there was a village in India with a lamp. The lamp was burning, and it was gradually fading away. And there was a mouse there. The mouse saw the oil in the ghee lamp, and the mouse went to take that ghee, and he accidentally pushed the cotton swab, so then the temple became brighter. And just for doing this, the mouse went back to God. So, Krishna is so kind, he accepts a tiny service from you. So here, he's saying, hands, legs always engage in all of the reception of your glory. What should a hand be used for? What should a legs be used for? What? We have the example of Gundicha temple. Gundicha was the name of wife of Lord Jagannath. And every year before Rath Yatra, they clean the temple. So Lord Chaitanya, in order to show the importance of cleaning the temple, he personally was scrubbing the ceiling, the floor, the walls, the altar, and he had deputed every party to have a leader. And then Lord Chaitanya personally went to all the parties to see how much dirt has each party accumulated. And then he would make those who were more successful train the others who were less successful. It's like you go to a developed country and you want to learn their technology. So similarly, in spiritual life also, we learn from those who are more advanced, those who are more professional. So Lord Chaitanya alone collected more dirt than all the other leaders, cleaners put together. So here we see that the Lord engaged his pastime, his hands, and other senses in activities pleasing to him. So we should not think that, oh, this cleaning of the temple is a Bhangiri. It is a story that there was a king Purushottam, who was the king of Orissa. And as you know, the tradition in Orissa is that the king, royal monarchy, cleans his floor every year before they have a golden broom. So King Purushottam was was conquering the king. He met the king of Kanchi. And the king of Kanchi had a daughter called Padmavati. And he proposed, they get married. So the king said, I have to go back and organize the Rath Yatra, because the king personally takes part in this organization. So the king invited the king of Kanchi to Rath Yatra. He could not come. So he sent his prime minister, told the prime minister, you go and attend Rath Yatra on my behalf. The prime minister saw that this king Purushottam, before the commencement of the Rath Yatra, you take a golden broom and sweep it and clean the road on which the Lord's chariot would move. So this foolish prime minister thought, this is the work of a bhangi. You know what's a bhangi, a sweeper. So he told the king, you can't marry your daughter to that sweeper. He's a sweeper, so I'm cleaning the road myself. So he wanted to teach a lesson. So he took his army and he went to the king of Kanchi. And he lost the battle. He lost. So then he came back. And he went to Lord Jagannath and saying that I was fighting to defend your honor and I got defeated. So then, again, the Lord told him, go back and fight again. So King Purushottam took his army and they again proceeded to fight. And as they were advancing, it was very hot in the way. So Jagannath and Bala, they saw a lady selling buttermilk, very thirsty. So they took the buttermilk and drank it. And the lady said, Paisa, we will not pay payment for this milk. And they said, we don't have it. Behind us, the two kings are coming on a chariot. So they came. Lord Jagannath told King Purushottam, you go and fight again, and I will fight on your behalf. And King Purushottam was wondering, how are Jagannath and Bala going to come and fight for me? So they couldn't imagine. So they fought. So they were going towards, Jagannath and Bala were going towards Kanchi, in a way that lady who sold the buttermilk stopped them and said, your two kings have taken all our buttermilk and told us that he will pay. And he said, Balaram saw the ring that was given by Jagannath to this lady who was selling buttermilk to show her the proof. And in the end, who won? Who won? King Purushottam. So, King Purushottam was thinking, the king of Kanchi's prime minister was thinking, because they're sweeping the floor, this is the work of a bhangi. So, a bhangi and a sweeper, if you are a bhangi or a sweeper in the Lord's premises, you're very fortunate. So when we come to the temple, we should not be thinking, I only do service that I want. They're going to give me prestige, and they're going to give me adoration. I should not be a mentality. Mentality should mean, I'm servant of the servant. I'll serve as needed. These days, a new phrase in ISKCON, and that is comfort zone. You heard that before? It's a new terminology. What does comfort zone mean? What does it mean? Nobody knows? Huh? Also, from my term. So if you want comfort zone policy, then you won't make any advance. If you're ready to serve as needed, then you'll make advance. Over here they're saying, the hands and other things engage in feeling you and make our minds other things available to speak. One question that devotees all over the world ask. Most of the questions devotees ask are the same. Doesn't matter whether you're in India or England or Canada. Basic questions are the same. So, devotees often ask, how can we control the mind? Is there a problem here? Here they're saying, feel your mind, always think of you. And what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Amara Bhava, Maharaja Satyam Pati Pirahitma. Think of me, bow down to me, obey home and him. So, the mind has been engaged positively. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, the one who has control the mind, what will happen? What controls the mind? One who will control the mind, he will be peaceful. One who will not control the mind, he will be peaceful. So here, the Kṛṣṇa is saying, your mind always thinks of you. Lord Chaitanya was on a tour of southern India. He met a devotee called Ramananda Roy. And he had information beforehand that we will meet this devotee Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy was externally working as the representative of the king, but he was self-realized. So Lord Chaitanya asked many questions to Lord is anxious to glorify the devotee, and the devotee is anxious to glorify the Lord. So Lord Krishna also told Yudhishthira to ask questions from Vishnudev who are getting ready to leave the body. So what should the living entities think about? This was a question asked by who? One of you from Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy said, one should constantly think about the holy names, pastimes, instructions. Now, when you say, think of the holy name, what does it mean? We should think about the glories of the holy name. I got so fortunate we have the holy name as our guide. How the Lord is wonderful to the holy name. Then the qualities of the Lord. Then the pastimes of the Lord. We have so many constant pastimes of the Lord. And if you read every one pastime a day, still by the time you leave this body, you will not have finished reading all. So here it says, your mind's always engaged in thinking of gloriously. So we know that we don't engage the mind positively, we will the mind go. So if we have to engage the mind positively, you should make an effort. Like Siddhantaji used to say, every morning when you get up, what should you do? Your mind. Every night when you go up, you read a bit. We don't physically do that, otherwise we'll all be rested. But the principle is, it's in our mind. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm only going to listen to the purified man of the Lord. So, further they're saying, our offer obeisance is to So all things are your different forms. When I see the form of Vaishnava, no different. So what are they saying? Even if you see everything as an extension of you. They are devotee. They see a beautiful rose. What do they say? Oh, the rose is made by women like Kṛṣṇa. Let me make a garland for the deities for them. Yes, money. You think, oh, this money has come by the mercy of the Lord. We use it in the Lord's service. Devotee has certain skills. You have devotee skills. And Prabhupada started this movement. He wanted paintings for books. Prabhupada was looking for them. And he saw Radharani to come with painting skills. And Prabhupada saw any devotee had his painting skills. Engage him in what way? Painting for the books. So a devotee, if he had any skill, what did he do with that? Do it in service of Lord. That is perfection. So over here, the sons of Kṛṣṇa, and look at how many people, they became realized by the mercy of Nāramani. And by the mercy of Nāramani, they got purified. So, you come to Krishna consciousness, you come and associate, you come and engage in devotional service. By doing these endeavors, you get purified. So this verse is a very sweet verse. Actually, every verse of the Bhagavatam is sweet. In the Bhagavatam there are how many? 18,000 verses. And you can open in the middle or the beginning or the end, and it's always sweet. But it's better if we systematically study. So in this chapter, we see that how the true sons of Kṛṣṇa were purified. And were purified, and they are now taking a vow. And henceforward, you never repeat the mistake. So similarly, before coming to Krishna consciousness, we engage in a variety of nonsense activities. But now that we come to Krishna consciousness, the goal should be, what should the goal be? To avoid detrimental activities, engage in conducive activities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, accept what is favorable for spiritual advancement and reject what is unfavorable. So, this is a guideline. And if our standing and hearing is perfect, then you will also be able to develop these other qualities. We thought that we would discuss this word. Now, every year, for the last 6 years, we had this Buddha Purnima. And you had that in Vancouver last year?
Yes, ma'am.
How many sites did you do? You please should know, last year, in all the temples around the world combined, they distributed 25,000 sets of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Who would have thought that one day all will distribute 25,000 sets of the Bhagavatam? But it's a question of effort. So the Buddha Purnima is an auspicious day. The 10th canto is written that if anybody distributes this knowledge on the auspicious occasion of Buddha Purnima, you go back to God. This is a shortcut going back to God. Sometimes people say, do you have any shortcuts in God? So the Buddha Purnima marathon is a shortcut. If you distribute the Bhagavatam says, then what will happen? You're not very pleased. So So these sets were distributed in a variety of ways. One was devotees went house to house, and some people gave offices. Many devotees go to offices to distribute Bhagavatam. And many of them sponsor Bhagavatam and request, please deliver this Bhagavatam to the residences in their place of residence. I have met many devotees who told me, we send the books from America, they got sponsored from America. The books are all printed in India. So, and then they tell the local temple how many sets they want to order. Many people distribute the sets. One thing that is being done now, most of the devotees who send Gitas and Bhagavatam to their place of residence, they send it to libraries. And we have recently discovered these books are very effective in libraries. Now our goal is to have every library in India in the next 2 years a Bhagavatam set. And these are sponsored. At least we're going to have Bhagavatam set in every library. There's a letter that Gopal wrote in which he said, this was in India. Every house in India must have a Bhagavatam set and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Every house in India must have Srimad Bhagavatam set and Chaitanya Charitamrita. What Bhagavad Gita is understood. So I wanted to request you all, please prepare. Buddha Purnima is when? Huh? December. 10th of September. So, we don't have much time. You want to take part in the Buddha Purnima marathon? When the marathon started, the total distribution was about 2,000 sets. And it went to 5,000. And last year, it went to 25,000. So a devotee never takes no as an answer. Make an effort. If you make an effort, God helps. What is that famous phrase? God has those who have. So please take part in the book marathon. And one of that just reminded me to talk about it. So, how many of you took part in the book marathon last year? The Buddha Purnima marathon? Yeah. How many are planning on doing it this year? Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. Yeah. If we can take on some questions. Yes, Bhagavad. Yes. We have made a plan in India, there's some leaders in India. Within 5 years, we have Prabhupada books and preaching centers in every district of India. In India, there are about 80,000 districts. And we took the map and made that as a target in the next 4 years to have a preaching base in every district of India. The Christians are there in every place, almost in every district. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Gopal. Thank you very much for this wonderful shloka from 10th canto. When we read the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, we often come across that we must engage our mind in thinking of Krishna. But unfortunately, many people cannot control the mind. to do that. So what is the shortcut, Maharaj?
Shortcut is just chant in here. Just chant. That's not difficult. Just chant in here. And if you do that, you have to get purified.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Maharaj, question. You were talking about how you should concentrate on your Krishna consciousness and your spirituality in life for yourself. But what if you have someone or something in your life which is disturbing that, which is causing you to stray from that? Do you try to explain to them about how to come back to the path, or do you cut that and continue on your spirituality?
Are you talking about? Do you repeat your question again?
In spirituality, you talk about worrying about your life, how you do spirituality, your Krishna consciousness, and such forth. But if you have someone or something in your life which is causing you to stray from that, do you help understand and help whoever what it is about your spiritual path, or do you just cut that and you just move on to your life in Krishna consciousness?
Our goal is to become Krishna conscious, and there will be challenges and difficulties also. We should fix on a devotional path, and you get the strength to overcome the illusory temptation. And you're doing Shravanam and Kirtanam, which is very important. It will help you to learn the art of controlling the mind. If you want a spiritual life, you have to make an effort. You have to give up something. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, accept everything favorable and reject everything unfavorable. In the act of devotion, there's so many rules and regulations. And Goswāmī and said, all these rules and regulations are meant to bring us to one point. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That should be our mantra. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Okay, more?
Thank you, Gopal. So, you were talking about how a service like sweeping for Lord Jagannath or cleaning the temple is equal to all different kinds of services, just as glorious. Why is that difficult to accept?
Well, I'm not really saying equal. What I'm saying is, we serve as needed. For example, you need to clean the temple. Prabhupada, if you go to any temple, the first thing you will see is the cleanliness. And if things are not clean, man will be corrected. So, we don't say everything is equal. But we say that service should be done as needed. We need people to clean the floor. We need people to do daily worship. We need people to do book distribution. All that will go on. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for this wonderful gloss. So, you mentioned we do our chanting, it takes us like almost 2 hours in the morning. But what is the ratio we should leave for reading? Because you mentioned reading is very important because it sharpens the memory. So what is the ratio for reading?
The ratio is going to vary from individual to individual. Everyone's schedule is different. Someone may have 2-3 hours for reading. Someone may not be. So it's going to vary. I don't think, well, we should at least shoot for 1 hour for reading. Minimum. But this is going to vary from devotee to devotee.
Thank you.
Yes, any more? Yes.
Maharaj, Manipur and Vancouver, they had darshan of Krishna. So after that they went back to they did not go back to Krishna. Did they go back to Golok Vrindavan or they just returned to their own residence?
We went back to God, but the devotee is just interested in serving the Lord. We went back to God. So there's a question from Mataji. We'll take 2-3 questions and stop. What's wrong with this? This is just to make sure you all stay awake. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Maharaj, how can we encourage more devotees to participate in book distribution? So I see a lot of temples. Some temples are very high in book distribution. Some temples are very, very low. So how can we encourage more devotees to participate in book distribution?
Preach to them about the advantage of book. We have so many examples of how somebody got a book, it changed his life. And we do a survey around the world, you'll find many came to Krishna consciousness with a medium of a book. I can give you so many examples. So, of course, people should understand the philosophy before they understand, before you send them a book distribution. It's not that somebody joins today and tomorrow you give them a book back, a distributed book. They should go to the Bhakta program, go to the training program, and then get on book. And then they'll be more effective. Usually when we, before our book distribution parties, the book distributors are trained. And if they're trained, then they perform better. Any more questions? Yeah. What's wrong with the sound system? Yeah.
One more time.
Yeah.
Yes. We can hear you.
My question is, you always talk about humility as devotees to progress in spiritual life, but how do we not only conquer our senses, but also our false ego?
How do we overcome false ego? How do we overcome offenses, false ego, and arrogance? These are all different effects. So the answer is very simple. You may find it too simple. our whole spiritual advancement and the elimination of anarthas is based on bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya, Rupa Goswami described the process of chanting and hearing. So we begin with sadhana and we read also. Then you will be able to control the senses and overcome arrogance, pride. Why are people proud? Because they are identifying with the body. Why are people arrogant? Because they want to identify with the body. And we say humility. Humility as a virtue is mentioned by all the great sages. Srila Thakur in his bhajan talks about humility. And the nature of a devotee is, he doesn't like boasting what he has done. If you read the Vaishnava prayers, you will see that Kṛṣṇa 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐚𝐜𝐿, he said, please don't even take my name. So if you take my name, all your good qualities will go away. So that's the mood, that's a genuine mood. So we should also develop humility. But natural humility develops by executing good sadhana. So if you have good sadhana, you will be assisted in controlling the mind and the sense. Arrogance, pride, we should cultivate. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about austerity of the tongue. So what's the austerity of the tongue? You speak words that are truthful. If you're so used to lying, then you speak words that are truthful is also austerity. Then you speak words that are truthful, but in a pleasing way. Speak the truth, but speak it in a very pleasant manner. Okay. Okay. You say one or two questions.
First of all, I want to thank you for making such an effort to come this evening and come and visit us here in Vancouver. In today's class, interpreting touched on the 9 processes of devotional service. And we see that in the past, many scholar personalities attained perfection by following one of the 9 processes only. So I'm wondering, will that apply today? Can one achieve perfection by following one of the 9 processes of devotional service?
The most important process is a pair, Shravanam and Kirtanam. If you do Shravanam, or when you do Kirtanam, then they will Shravan. This is the most important. And then you're developing chanting and hearing, these other qualities you want to develop. Without Shravanam Kirtanam, you can't progress on the spiritual path. Is that right? Okay. Anyone? Yes. Yeah.
Guru Maharaj, these days the younger generation, they would like to read e-books or the digital books rather than the printed material. So how do we cater to those people in terms of book distribution?
Tell them reading on e-book is also beneficial. Tell them you want to preserve your vision and not have back problems, and if you read from a printed book, that's better. If you read on the e-books too much, your eyes will get spoiled. Your back problems will go. Otherwise the PPT will collapse. Yeah.
I think we'll break. I will take a break here, Maharaj, if you don't mind, because it's already very late for you.
I know.
So, okay. No, I think he's asking some questions. Okay. Big question.
Hi, Krishna. Maharaj, how come these two brothers, it seems they got it easy? Like, how come they got such a blessing? I mean, I would take it if it's just, okay, 100 years as a tree and I can get darshan of Krishna. So how come they
100 celestial years. That's much longer. Yeah. So, what's your question?
How come they got such a blessing?
Well, they had blessing, they were already sons of Kuvera. So, to be son of Kuvera is not a small job. So they were already blessed. But because these two sons that they had deviated, they brought them back. So they will stop. I mean, you will take part in the Banda Purnima marathon this year. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.